Let's talk
Mhm.
about Diddy's family. His family making statements this week. We saw them, of course, in court last week, coming in and out, standing by Diddy's side and making statements. The whole family making statements now, not just mom. That we stand with our dad. We believe him. We do not believe this mountain of accusers that really clearly points out a lot of misdeeds. You surprised by this at all? That the kids and everybody are going to stand by dad through all of this, despite the horrible mountain of evidence that shows dad's not necessarily dad of the year.
Yeah. No, it doesn't surprise me because that's how he got away with so much for so long because he has a group including his family members of people who consider him God and let him get away with everything.
Mhm.
So it would surprise me if anybody confronted him from his inner circle at this point.
That's what I'm wondering is what does it take sometimes in situations like this where you have, I mean, let's take the celebrity out of it. Let's just say, it's a parent where someone was accused of really horrible shit. And let's, for the sake of this, assume that the children didn't know. I don't know how they
Yeah.
wouldn't, but maybe their heads just so far in the sand they
Yeah.
don't know. But then it comes out, it keeps coming out. I mean, this is going to continue with a laundry list. It's not just one person, excuse me, making allegations here. Do kids ever come around to things like this and make a realization? Is there an event that needs to take place to help them make that realization? Do charges against them themselves help them make that realization if maybe they got caught up in it? Or is this just one of those things where our minds
Yeah.
really prevent us from going down that road?
I think some perpetrators are so good at masking and role playing that their families, particularly their children, really have no idea about, we've seen that with some of the serial killers, that
Hmm.
we've talked about. Their kids don't know. They have no idea. While it's shocking, I think normal people, when presented with solid evidence, the chorus of voices of victims, they do come to accept it. And very often that's a very difficult thing for them. How do they separate their identity from the type of person that their parent is? So it's something that happens sometimes gradually, sometimes more subtly, but I think for many, it's something that they need to work through just to come to an awareness of who are they as separate from their parent.
Yeah, I mean, and once they do come to that sort of awareness, I mean, what do you see typically? Do they still maintain contact with the parent, or when it's something this disgusting, is it like you're out, I'm done,
Yeah.
or is that contact maintained for whatever reason, um, for their own well being? I don't know.
Yeah, I think more often, in a case like that where they really had no idea and then they find out the parent had a horrible dark side, usually they do cut contact.
Yeah, is there any benefit to maintaining contact with someone like this? Once, I mean,
Yeah,
if they were good to you, because that's what goes through a
right.
lot of people's minds as well. To me, they were
Yeah,
fine. To the rest of the
yeah.
world, they were this terrible monster. But does that even matter once lines like this are crossed? If you're the child and maybe they'll never treat you that way,
Mhm,
is there any benefit to maintaining that
mhm.
relationship?
Mhm. I think it's a case by case basis. For some people, they do feel a need maybe to write letters in prison and try to work out their feelings and come to some resolution where they can keep the good memories of the parent and hold that separate from all the bad things. So it's that challenge we have of holding two opposing truths
Hmm.
at once. That my father was a monster, but he was nice to me.
Yeah.
Um, and so sometimes there is a process that they can go through that seems to work for them, but I certainly think a lot of them do just decide to cut contact.
Yeah, it seemed like that would make sense, but I can't imagine. I mean, that's not an easy thing to do in any situation,
No.
even when you find out all this information, because your brain's just not going to process it. It's not. It's
Mhm.
not like,
Mhm.
oh yeah, oh that makes sense. He's doing all these
Yeah.
horrible things. It's dad. It's
Yeah,
not
it's
a.
shocking. It's very hard on the family.
Yeah. Hey, thanks for checking out the video. Be sure to follow us wherever you download podcasts, and especially Apple Podcasts, where you can get advanced episode and premium content on our premium channel right there. Also, be sure to follow us on social media so you don't miss any breaking updates on the stories that matter to you most. We're on TikTok, X, Instagram, Facebook. Just search Hidden Killers Podcast with Tony Bruschi, and you'll find us right there. Again, thanks for watching.